So it's 4:27 hours on the 28th of the second, 2020. Right. I just finished writing a letter to a dear comrade, and in a sense, I was kind of venting some things I wanted to get off my chest to him. I just thought I'd make a recording of it since I just started all this recording kind of stuff. So the thing I was sort of venting about or trying to get off my chest was today I felt a bit vulnerable. I felt a bit weak, and I think I figured out why I felt weak and vulnerable today. So yesterday I had my hand surgery for my right hand, and I had to be under local anesthetic and all that. And so when they discharged me, they told me, all right, for the next few days, don't engage in any physical activity, don't exercise or work, don't even go to social engagements or anything. So I pretty much just told, just go home, rest, and recover. I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough. Because, you got to recover after something like an operation. So, yeah, yesterday I was fine. And when I woke up this morning, I guess I was fine. But as the day went on, I don't know, I felt like my spirit was getting weaker, and I started to not believe in myself. So I was writing my letter explaining all this, and yeah. So what I figured out is the fact that I wasn't engaging in all my regular routines for the day, like not even writing or not even exercise. I wasn't even doing anything. I wasn't. Yeah, the fact that I wasn't doing all my regular routines or rituals, it means I wasn't producing the amount of energy and strength that I usually do every day. And I think by not producing that energy or strength to do these daily tasks, I put myself in a weaker state, or I created a weaker state for myself because every other day I'm about this strong, or maybe I'm like this strong, like the strongest. But today I wasn't strong, and then by not having that energy to do all this kind of stuff, like I feel weak. It's like I couldn't do anything. I didn't believe in myself. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like I'm not doing anything, so like, do I really believe in my own self? Because I wasn't doing anything. I don't know. It made me feel really vulnerable, and so when I was on the internet as well, I I came across like some stuff that I read up, and it just reminded me of times where I was sad and vulnerable, and it put me back in that more sad, uh, vulnerable state, and it made me doubt myself even more. Just like reading something on the internet, like what the hell? Because every other day, if I read whatever on the internet, it doesn't matter if it's negative or not, whether it's directed to me or not. Because like what I read, it was just something just to read, but it just reminded me of something that made me sad, and I got really sad. I was like, what the hell? What's going on, man? Like, why are you being like this? So I had to think about it, and then because I was sad and vulnerable, something like the fire in my heart just wanted to be like, hey man, stop being weak. What is this? You gotta do something. And I thought, all right, what do I do? Like, oh, just do some art or something. And I was like, yeah, I'll write. My hand hurts. It was hard to write, but I just wrote anyway. I wrote my letter to my comrade, and yeah, so through the writing, I had to create and produce energy for that, and I started to feel strong again. And then like whatever the hell I read that bothered me just didn't matter anymore. Like just the fact that I created some strength, or it's actually, let's call it motivation. Maybe that's a better word. Yeah. So the fact that I produce motivation within myself to start writing, because that's one of the things that I love doing. So the fact that I started writing, it it re-strengthened me. And then whatever the hell I read that made me sad, it didn't really make me sad anymore. Because when I got into my stronger state, because when I write, like I love writing, by the way. And when I write, like I'm a warrior when I write. Whenever I'm writing, I put on my armor and I get my weapon. I pick up my sword. And I just dance away. And use my swordsmanship to create whatever the hell I am doing. And so yeah, I got back into my state, and then so when I was in a stronger state, I started to realize, shit, why was whatever the hell Red making me so sad? And then it was clear I was lacking strength and energy for the day. And I really was vulnerable, so vulnerable that reading something that reminded me and made me sad brought me all the way back to the past to when I was sad about that. Like I relived a sadness. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So yeah, I explained that to my friend. I explained the details about him. I won't bore you, like guys, with all that. But um, I hope that by sharing the fact that I just had to, you know, at least just do a little task and create some sense of energy, strength, motivation, whatever you want to call it. Just produce that within yourself. It can make you stronger in certain times or situations. It's like um it's like when a sports team is facing a very tough competitor and then they start to doubt themselves and all that. One of the best things they can do is just remember their practice, remember their training, get into the flows and rhythms that they usually do. Usually before, like a football game, the team gets together and they say a little chant. They meditate. Like when they chant and they have their little talk together before the game. That's a sense of meditation. That's re-energizing the whole team to remember. All right, we're about to go out there in the field and we're about to win. We're going to defeat the opponents. Like, just just all these little things, these little rituals you can do to give yourself strength, or these little tasks that you do every day, they can make you strong again. Because I don't know why, but when you're not doing those tasks, you um you can get vulnerable. I read something on the internet and it reminded me of old feelings I had, and I felt weak. I I'm so glad I figured out, yeah, I gotta do something, and then when I did something, I produced energy to make myself feel better again. So yeah, I hope my friend does enjoy that little experience I had, and I hope others can learn that. Hey, maybe when you're not in a good state, maybe you just need to do some things to give yourself energy. I think that's why when people are going through hard times, they like to keep themselves busy. That usually helps them get through hard times. It's not the greatest advice in terms of dealing with the actual emotional conflict that they're dealing within themselves. But I understand also what keeping themselves busy does. Keeping themselves busy is them producing that energy, that strength, that motivation within themselves, so that whenever they do have to face the emotional conflict within themselves, at least they have a bit of strength so they can deal with it if they choose to deal with it. Because I know people, they're going through hard times and they do keep themselves busy. They keep themselves really busy, but they don't take the time to self reflect and really deal with their issues. So I hope that if people going through all that are listening and they they're aware that they're not really dealing or facing the issues, maybe they could do it on the days where they're really like getting themselves doing different tasks, like when you're at work, do a bit more, like, really be strong. Be strong enough to do more, and then give yourself like 5-10 minutes just to self-reflect about whatever it is you're dealing with, and then maybe you'll face it feeling stronger and not vulnerable. Because if you're just facing it and you haven't really mustered much motivation in you, that stuff can really be hard. Like me reading something on the internet and it reminding me of my depression, that was really crazy. Like, I don't know, I had to talk about it, and I'm glad that I still have a positive outlook. And then whatever I read, I understood why it made me sad that time. I understand why what I read exists, because there are other people that are sad as well. And like, sad things happen in life. It's hard. And sometimes bad things happen. But as long as we're positive and we're strong and we try to make the world a better place, and we give ourselves energy so we can complete tasks, maybe we'll all be in a good position to have happier lives. Something like that. But either way, yeah. If you're ever feeling down, do little things that you need to produce strength or energy or motivation to do. Even something as simple as just taking out the rubbish, or I don't know. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Just anything. Um, Maybe that little strength you produce will just help you get through whatever it is you're dealing with. Who knows? Signing out.